this video, we're going to be talking about subdomain names. Now, what the heck is a subdomain? Well, without getting all Wikipedia on you, it's basically an extension of your main domain. For example, your main domain, in this case, is tweetvideotutorials.com. A subdomain might be support.tweetvideotutorials.com or membership.tweetvideotutorials.com, whereas a subdirectory or a folder is the / whatever at the end of it, just after the .com. For example, tweetvideotutorials.com / support or tweetvideotutorials.com / membership. Now, what's the difference between a subdomain and a subdirectory? Well, besides the actual look and the location, one being before, one being after, they're also looked at a lot differently by the all-important, all-knowing, all-seeing search engines, because the subdomains rank a little bit higher in that hierarchy of things than your subdirectories. Now, as far as the search engines are concerned, your main domain comes first. Of the three, your main domain comes first in importance, and the subdomain would come second, and the subdirectory or the folder would come third. So if you're given a choice of creating a subdomain or a subdirectory, one thing you would want to consider is the SEO benefits. And in doing so, you're going to create a subdomain, or you should anyway, create a subdomain instead of a subdirectory. Now, that being said, you can in fact have both. You can create a subdomain and have a subdirectory of that subdomain. Are you making sense of this? It's really not that difficult. So let's go ahead and first off, let's create a subdomain. And that way you'll see just how easy it is. And you can always delete the darn thing and start from scratch. There's really not that much to it. But basically, one thing you want to keep in mind is that you're not limited by the name of your subdomain. Okay, you're only limited by your own imagination. You can have as many subdomains, depending upon your web hosting account, as you can think of names. So let's go on down here. Now again, remember, you can customize this by holding and dragging this up or down. So depending upon where yours is at, this is where you want to go to the domain section. Go here to subdomains and just left click on this. And in our example here, we're going to go with videos, which our URL would be videos. Actually, it would be http://videos.tweetvideotutorials.com. Now, this would create an entirely new domain of sorts, and inside of that domain, you can have files. So, for example, you can have a complete blog on tweetvideotutorials.com and an entirely different blog on videos.tweetvideotutorials.com. As a matter of fact, that's what we're going to be doing here shortly. So one of the benefits behind this, again, because of the way that search engines and their friendly little robots spider through all the links on the interweb, is that if you have a web hosting account that allows you unlimited number of subdomains, then go to town, because for every subdomain that you have, you can put a blog on that subdomain, and somewhere on that blog you have a link coming back to your main site. And on that main site, that's your moneymaker, let's just say, for example. So for as many subdomains as you have out there on the old interweb that has a link coming back to your main site, these robots that come from Google or Yahoo or MSN or whoever, and once they get onto that subdomain and they see those links coming back, just kind of like that old spiderweb deal, every link that comes back to your main site adds that one more tick of importance or authority in the eyes of that search engine. So after a while, after you build up a lot of links to your main site, and this is not just from your subdomains, but also from other websites out there that are on different IP addresses, and I'm getting a little off track here, but suffice it to say, subdomains of your main domain can play a role in adding authority to your main site. That's where your PR 1s and 2s and 4s and 5s come in. And again, I'm getting way off track here, but just let it be known, though, that you can have, depending upon your web hosting setup, you can have as many subdomains as you can think of names for them, and on each one of those you have a blog, and on each one of those blogs you have a link pointing back to your main site. Well, your search engine ranking is going to definitely benefit from that. So again, how easy is this to create? Let's create one. videos. And you can have it with or without the S, totally up to you. This tells you that's okie dokie. And then you click anywhere and it's going to give you a folder or a directory for this particular subdomain. And what I would do, just because I'm paranoid, is I would change this right off the bat. Now before we go any further, remember way back when we started that organizational thing where we had the folder, and inside of that folder we had the text document where we kept tabs on our passwords and our usernames and all that kind of stuff? We'll break that puppy out and boom, here we go. In addition to the blogs you have on your main domain and your support ticket type software you have on your main domain, you want to keep track of all of your subdomains as well. And in this instance here, we've got a subdomain here, right here, and we're going to have a username. Now, as the default just plunked down there, it was videos. That would be our username. Now, that's going to come in handy whenever we create our FTP hookup and log into our FTP client for that particular subdomain. Now, myself, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I would just go into the directory created through this particular main FTP client, but just let it be known though you can in fact have additional FTP accounts set up for just that. But that's where that username would come in at. So what I would do just for security purposes is I would change this to something else, something arbitrary. And I think you're limited here too to like 8 characters, I think, and you may not be allowed to use capitals, and there might be other limitations too, but anywho, what I would do is start off with the vid, just so that you've got some kind of an idea as to what it is. And then my main thought here though is to change it from whatever the default was to something else. That's the main goal here. Then I would just copy this and vid to GT. So just in case the need ever arises to, what the heck is that subdomain username? Well, now then you've got it right here. And click on create, and boom, subdomain is just about created. And there we have it. Subdomain videos.tweetvideotutorials.com has been created. Now then, if you were to put this into your browser bar, there wouldn't be anything showing up just yet because it's brand new. But you can always come back here and go into your file manager, throw some stuff in there like a new blog or whatever, and that's it. And if we click on home, that'll bring us back here. You can go into file manager here, and right in here you've got your own new directory that you can have your own index file and all kinds of, an additional blog, an additional OS ticket, or anything. This is just like a new domain altogether. And that's basically it. Now we're going to go into greater detail on how you can use this by creating additional blogs using your main domain as well as your subdomains. The same rules would apply. It's just that the more subdomains that you have that you've got blogs contained in there, then if those blogs have links coming back to your main domain, then it's just going to add more oomph, more Google juice to your main blog. I've said that enough times. I think that message has been sent home, hopefully. So anyway, that's going to bring us to the end of this video on how to create a subdomain. Thank you very much for watching, and you have a great day.